What's going on, EPW Nation? It's your boys from the Everything College Basketball Podcast, Josh and Peyton, here to remind you all that college basketball season is right around the corner. Yes, we finally know it's right around the corner, and Peyton, there's only one place people should go for all the college basketball excitement.
Well, Josh, the only place to find all college basketball hoops all the time is Everything College Basketball. Everything College Basketball can be listened to on several podcast hosting sites like Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. And we can also be found on our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Everything College Basketball.
Yes, make sure you are joining the group with a couple other 100 people and growing by the day as we march into year number 3 of the Everything College Basketball networking system. Now, let's get back to Conrad and Everything Pro Wrestling.
What's going on, everybody? This is Conrad Cushman welcoming you to another episode of Clash of the Podcast, where Everything Pro Wrestling meets Hubbard Wrestling. And we are going to give you guys a weekly rundown of all the latest and greatest happening in the world of pro wrestling. If you guys are here with us in the live YouTube chat, make sure you guys are giving us your comments. If you're listening to this on the audio platforms for myself at Everything Pro Wrestling or at Hubbard Wrestling Weekly, great website. All of that stuff's in the description below. Leave us a 5-star review. It really helps more people check us out, finds us in the algorithm. And the best thing about watching on YouTube, I think, is our dope intro video. So here it is, and we're going to start the show.
Conrad, it's indeed an honor and a privilege to be with you once again, my man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We're really happy to have you guys tonight. What a special night. We're going to be talking about something really, really important as we move into the doorstep of WrestleMania season. We all started looking forward to the Royal Rumble right after the completion of Survivor Series, and we've reached about that time. A lot of things going on in AEW. We're going to touch on the William Regal situation a little later. What's next for the Bloodline. But first, before we get into our main topic of the evening, I do feel at liberty, though he probably not want me to let the world know that my brother Conrad is not 100% today. He's playing a little bit hurt. We appreciate him for pushing through. So with that being said, Hubbard Wrestling Weekly's in the building. You know what I'm saying? EPW is in the building, and we are Clash of the Podcast. And I am really excited. We are really excited to talk about what we think is probably the hottest angle in wrestling, the Bloodline. But before we get into that, we want to talk about the guy that can disrupt a lot of what the Bloodline has been doing. And we're not talking about Sami Zayn yet. We're not talking about Sami Zayn yet. We are talking about the elephant in the room. We're talking about The Rock. And I'll be honest with you guys. I'll be honest with you, Conrad. The Rock returning to WrestleMania to challenge Roman Reigns, whether it be for the title or not. I know the world is clamoring for that. I know everybody wants that. But I'll be honest with you. There is a little bit of hesitancy on my part as it relates to my desire to see The Rock go up against Roman Reigns. I think as much as WWE still has a long way to go to get where it needs to be, as it relates to consumer satisfaction, it has made some significant changes for the better. And I will say this to be even more specific about it, that the Bloodline, which is the main event storyline of WWE in 2022, has enough momentum where it does not need The Rock. Yes, I said it. It does not need The Rock. I think The Rock has become somewhat of a annoyance. I don't know how you feel about this, Conrad, but somewhat of an annoyance to the apple cart, as it were. When we talk about how we go down the road towards WrestleMania season and think about the possibilities of Rock versus Roman. There's so many interesting things going on. You got the Sami Zayn factor. I still think that Jey Uso is going to be a factor. That's an outside chance now, but I still think that is a slight possibility. Kevin Owens has reemerged as a threat. Seth Rollins is always still there. If it's done right, and obviously Cody Rhodes is an obvious, I guess you could say X factor as it relates to possibilities coming down the pike at the Royal Rumble. So my question to you, Conrad, do we really need The Rock?
I think it depends. It depends on what position you're in.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a stockholder, if you are someone who has stakes involved in WWE, yes, and yes, you need The Rock. But if you're an old school fan, do you need The Rock? Yes, because The Rock brings back that nostalgia, the memories for you. If you're one of the younger new school fans, do you care about The Rock as much?
Right.
Maybe not, depending on how your elders feel about wrestling and who they grew up liking. You never know. But it depends on the situation and the circumstance. For me, I think I want to see The Rock get his moment. I would hate for The Rock to go out in that match with John Cena. He left injured. If he never wrestled again, would he be fine? Absolutely. This ain't going to hurt him. But I think that The Rock coming back does mean something. I felt like in his matches with John Cena that there was, I don't know, you had the opportunity to do something special, but you didn't take full advantage of it. And I felt like when Rock was wrestling those matches, he was trying to overcompensate. I felt like he tried to do some of those Rocky Maivia moves that you see, like if you're watching young Rock, you see him doing the cross bodies and all that. Rock wasn't doing that anymore in 99. He wasn't doing cross body blocks. He was going into the crowd. And I think those are the types of matches that The Rock should be having at this point. I don't know if the live chat would agree with me on some of these things, but who knows? Who knows how you could take it or how you would want to feel with something like that. It all depends. It could change up easily. Going into the chat, I just want to see what some of you guys think when it comes to that. And shout out to BJ, Pro Wrestling Shoot, Joel, Matt Lopez, Positively E. What's good, E? Let's see here. Damon McKinney has joined us. What up, Rob? Are you saying my mic went? Is it me? No, it says my mic's still working. Yeah. I think Sean's trying to fix his audio real quick for it. So just be patient with us, guys, and we'll get back to it. So I'm flying solo here for a second. But what do you guys think? Is The Rock needed at WrestleMania this year? Because I had a great comment in my Facebook group about the exact same thing. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's needed, maybe he's not. I feel 50-50 on it. Let's see what you guys think, man. Throw it in the chat if you got something for us. And I think you're back, brother. What's good? Let's see. Conrad, I watched TNA and I saw Bull versus a Pirate. I blame you. Hey. You watched the wrong week for Impact. I'm coming here when it was the comedy week for the IPWF, which is good stuff. I laugh at it always. E said, look at Stone Cold last year. Less is more for old timers, and that's the psychology goals. Let's see here. Matt Lopez says he can hear me. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what the issue was. What's good, Sick? Um, echoing? Still doing it? Let's see. Sean?
What are we without a couple of technical difficulties, right? What are we? What are we? But
Always.
what are we but human, ladies and gentlemen? We're back. Let's go.
I can hear you. Okay. And I'm getting a little feedback on your end, but I think it's good now. Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys.
I do. Any echo? I don't hear an echo. You guys are both echoing.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Say something again, Sean.
I'm here. What's up?
Okay. Yeah, I don't hear anything.
Neither do I. But we're gonna push through, guys. We're gonna push through. It took us 14 episodes to mess up, but we're all right though.
Oh, Joel said it was on his end. See?
Oh my God! What the heck?
We've been sabotaged.
Oh my goodness! I didn't signed off and unplugged my computer just for y'all's benefit, and it turns out it wasn't even on us. But it's good to be back. What's going on? What did I miss?
No, we were just talking about the Rock thing, and I tried to get some thoughts from the chat here and pull them up within all of this. Someone blamed me for Impact. Anytime I recommend people watch Impact, why is it always the week when they do something crazy or different? So someone said, I watched Impact this week, and they watched the week where they do like the comedy, like throwback to the 80s, where they all dress up like the old school wrestlers. Right. And they're like, I saw a bull versus a pirate, and I blame you. You need to watch the match with my boy Bill Ding in it. Construction worker. Good stuff.
Wow, unbelievable.
Chad, what's good, man? I see that you joined us talking about steak, egg, and cheese bagels, man. Let's see here.
I'm not gonna lie. I saw that commercial and got real fired up. I was almost more fired up about that than the McRib. And I haven't been to McDonald's in 6 months. 6 months, literally.
It's been longer than that for me, brother. I hear you. Well, unless it's for my kid once in a blue moon. But
yeah, of course.
He said, looking stone cold last year. Less is more for old timers. That's the psychology goals.
Okay, so where are we at, guys? Because we had a little bit of technical difficulty, but we're back and better than ever. My thing is,
we kept the conversation the same. It was still going. It was just about The Rock.
All right, cool. So I definitely want to hear this, and if it becomes repetitive, I apologize, but I definitely want to get your take on this. I don't think I heard what you said about how, from a stockholder's standpoint, a stockholder's standpoint, that The Rock coming back, obviously The Rock is best for business, but is it best for storyline purposes? Because to me, you're taking away a main event spot. I'm going to actually be a CM Punk guy right now and say, hey, listen, Dwayne, we don't need you to come back and take a main event spot that we've been working for all year just for you to take the title or not take the title and disappear again, probably this time for good. We just don't need you. You're a movie star now. Stay on the movie lot. While you're gathering your thoughts.
Oh, no, I have something to say. I already know what I want to say.
Holy crap, I'm telling you something right now. I'm getting fired up about this thing, okay? We don't need the freaking Rock. Something? The Rock has crossed over, damn it, and it's about time that we all recognize it. The Rock has crossed over. He's a movie star now. We shouldn't even call him The Rock anymore. His name is Mr. Dwayne Johnson. We don't need The Rock at WrestleMania. We don't need him taking up spots. We don't need him taking up opportunities for other guys. What we need is for The Rock to stay where he's at, and for Roman Reigns, and here's the deal for me, Roman Reigns to defend the title twice, Saturday and Sunday. Let's make it a weekend.
All right. It sounds good when you say that, but you got to put yourself in the position of there's two guys in this. One being The Rock, the other being Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is going to want to face his family. He's trying to take care of his family too. There's a lot at play when it comes to this, and it's not that simple. And when The Rock shows up, they do usually have higher buy rates, sell more items. I was there at 29 when it happened. I mean, yeah, it was twice in a lifetime and blah, 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 blah. And I was one of those fools who thought, yeah, they're going to put Punk in it. They got to put Punk in it. Womp, womp. I was wrong. What? You got to think about giving this to The Rock, don't you?
Do we
You
not?
gotta.
Not, and I want to apologize in advance because I don't want to risk unplugging again because I know my mic is not 100% right now. I gotta look at things from a perspective of a business-minded professional, okay? You have Cody Rhodes. Assumption, okay? That's an assumption. You have Cody Rhodes. You even have Sami Zayn. If Roman Reigns defended the title both nights, and the first title defense was against Sami Zayn on Saturday night, would we not be entertained? I know that's a stretch. As long as Roman faces somebody legitimate in night 2, we don't care. I want Roman both nights. That's what I want. I don't know how you guys feel. I want Roman to defend both nights. Maybe an unrealistic expectation. But The Rock coming back, what purpose does it serve? What purpose does it serve? We don't need The Rock to take up a spot that somebody's worked for all year. We don't need that. We don't need that. The Rock's going to come back. He's going to win or lose. Who cares? And it's going to mean nothing. It's going to mean nothing. Win, lose, or draw. Why should WrestleMania have a main event that means nothing, win, lose, or draw? Can you answer me that?
I get it. I get that it makes it very predictable what's going to end up happening. But how do you get out of this at this point now? I think you could have done something before, but now what do you do?
You know what? I don't know. Have you seen The Rock on WWE television?
Not yet. But if Rock says he wants the match, are you going to be like, well, Rock, thanks for the millions and millions of dollars, but we don't need them right now?
My brother from another mother. Have you seen The Rock on WWE television?
Not yet.
Okay, so we don't need to get out of anything. The Rock wasn't on SmackDown 2 weeks ago. The Rock wasn't on Raw last week. There wasn't something set in motion, and now we have to detach it. Rock, stay where you're at. Matter of fact, Rock, come to Hollywood and get inducted into the Hall of Fame, and then go on about your business.
Have you been seeing the clues in Young Rock? Do you watch that show?
I am not an idiot. Yes, I've seen all the clues. I'm not a moron. I know what's good. And don't you insult my intelligence again. Do I have noticed the clues?
Time out. I actually watch the show with my family, though. We usually sit down and watch it, and it's their piece of like, oh, I love The Rock. My wife loves The Rock. Big Rock fan. Loves the Usos, Roman Reigns. They get booed when they show up, and I'm down there because I'm like, absolutely not. Mm-hmm. Out of here with those guys. But when they showed him with the Universal title up there, like it was supposed to be in the future that The Rock held the Universal title, I was like, what are you doing here? And they made mentions last season, even, oh, this is my whiny cousin Roman Reigns. Acknowledge me. It's just funny how they add that little quirky stuff in there for it.
I'm sick of this. Let me tell you something, man. See, this is when you get me pissed off. You get me pissed off as you sip your little drink.
I'm sick,
out in suburban Buffalo, okay? I'm down here in the city, down in the trenches, man, and I am sick of this crap. I am sick of this crap, and anybody in the chat has a problem with it, they can take it up with me too. I'm sick of The Rock taking main event slots from people, okay? What happened in 2013? Didn't The Rock say he was coming back and he's never leaving again? Isn't that what he said?
He's always here, though.
No, he's not here. And I'm not going to sit up here and watch his stupid television show every freaking week to get clues about WrestleMania. I'm not going to watch his stinking YouTube videos where he does interviews with people, okay, where he talks about being the head of the table, and I'm the head of the table, and he's the head of the table, and we're the head of the table, and you're the head of the table, and I'm the head of the table. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Stay where you're at, Rock. Stay where you're at, Dwayne. You can try and keep a straight face all you want. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. I don't need The Rock, okay? There was a time I needed The Rock. There was a time I wanted The Rock to be on WWE. I am over it. You should be over it. Chat, you should be over it. Everybody should be over it. The Rock coming back is going to do one thing and one thing only. It's going to accomplish one thing and one thing only, Conrad. You know what it's going to accomplish? It's going to accomplish pissing somebody off. I'm going to calm down now.
Let's go to the chat. The chat has
you go into the chat. You go into it. Because I'm sick of this crap now. I'm looking you in the eye, man. I'm sick of it.
We got to get him to stop cutting these 80s promos on us. He's going to sit on us in there. Can we do it again? We're live, pal. We're live.
No, I didn't screw it up like Sid screwed it up. Don't do me like that.
That's one of my favorite moments. But Sid yelling into a mic, that was 90s and 80s wrestling at its finest.
Oh, my God. Thank you for indulging me, by the way.
Yeah, check the private chat, too, when you get a second. I'm going to go through some of these and read these real quick. Six says, Dwayne won't win the Rumble, guys. Cody will win, and it'll be a triple threat at WrestleMania between Rock, Cody, and Roman. Y'all know how this goes. Rock ain't got time to be champ, and that is a fact. Matt Lopez said, adrenaline in my soul. No one should win the Rumble but Cody Rhodes. I think people might turn on him if he wins it too fast, if they're not feeling very invested in him. Let's see here. Lady Kenzie, welcome. I don't want to see The Rock and his mic had static, but it's gone now. Yeah, I think he jumped back in on us. Also, when's the last time Dwayne was in the ring? He was spitting up blood. He was getting too old for in-ring competition. No matter how buff he gets, those old bones of his are getting brittle. Let's see. How was SmackDown Live? I didn't go to SmackDown, actually. I was not feeling well enough to go. But the people in the chat who I was supposed to go with said they had fun at the show. Also, can I just say, y'all remember when The Rock had the flamethrower set his name on fire? Dude, this match better not be for a title. Joel said, the trenches, you live near me and where you are is very nice. The trenches, unbelievable.
Close to
Hey,
man, don't put me out on blast, man.
Yeah. Let's see.
I'm just tired of the whole. All jokes aside, I've had a little bit of fun with this thing, but in all seriousness, I just can't stand the idea of him coming back and taking somebody. Yeah, sorry about that. I just don't want to. I don't want to.
Yeah, you know what? Try to unplug it one more time for us, just in case. If you guys hear anything going wrong in the chat, just let us know. I'd rather have him get his thoughts out clearly than to be stuck with it for a second. So he's gonna try to reset. This is the technical difficulty show. You know what? You know why it's happening to him. You know why it's happening. It's the people's electricity right now messing up his microphone because he's talking about The Rock in a bad way. He's talking about the people's champ. The Rock is one of the best people that Vince ever picked to be one of his top guys. He knows. Superstars of the past taking up the main roster spots under the Vince McMahon era. Don't forget that. At this point, we may see Rock at Fast 5, then facing Roman. You never know. Damon said, I am the table. Cody is the guy to do it. We'll see, man. I think people could turn, though. We never know. Conrad, I know a secret about Sean. He says he lives in the trenches, but he lives at the head of the table. I love it. I love it. Cody isn't the only one who beats Roman. He comes back for a month and got injured. Sammy is the one who should face Roman. He earned it. That is another great argument to have about all of this, is the Sami Zayn portion of it. A lot of people are starting to say, like, they're getting behind Sammy and they're trying to add, well, what is the point of all this? Could you justify Sami Zayn taking that spot over Cody? He's been more involved in the storyline. Cody's story is just he wants the belt. Okay. Cody wants the belt. Who knows? Yeah, Sami Zayn. I hear you, BJ, on that they'll be the tag champs, but we spent a lot of time here with The Rock. I mean, what about Sammy, though? I know some people are saying, okay, don't give it to The Rock. Maybe you have Rock and Stone Cold face off against the Bloodline. I don't know. You could find something different for them to do, but who do you have go up against them then? Because someone's going to use it as an argument. If anything goes down, they'll say, oh, you should have put The Rock in the spot instead of so-and-so.
And The Rock is hoping my mic situation's cleared up.
I said it was the people's electricity because you keep saying that. He's like, yeah, zapping that mic.
No, but seriously, I just feel like I was having a little fun with it earlier, but I just don't like the idea of people working hard all year just to have somebody come back and steal the main event slot at WrestleMania. The Stone Cold situation was unique. I think The Rock last time, meaning WrestleMania 28, was unique. 29 was overkill. Many people feel like 29 was overkill. And I feel like 39 would be overkill. I mean, we had The Rock technically at WrestleMania 32 in a match, which doesn't count to me, when he beat the guy in 4 seconds. But it's like, I don't know, man. I just, Sami Zayn's on fire right now. I think Jay is on fire right now. I think you can go so many different directions with the Bloodline that could be successful. I think it is contingent, though. I think it's very contingent on Black Adam sales. I don't know what that means. You got to help me understand what that means.
Where are you looking at?
At the bottom.
Oh, that's dirty. The people electricity could have helped with them Black Adam ticket sales. You wrong for that.
I went over my head.
He was in the DC. Rock plays Black Adam in the DC movie.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
He said that electricity could have been used on the ticket sales.
But yeah, Roman should fight both nights, and I mean, I feel like that's more of an attraction than Rock fighting one night. The only way Rock being there would not really anger me. Like, I'm talking about, like, anger me to the point where I was kind of joking around in my little promo there, would be if Rock faced Roman night one. If Rock faces Roman night one and loses, then I can be okay with that. But night two, Sunday night, the main event of the main events, Rock and Roman, it doesn't sit right with me.
I hear you. Connor No Soccer, what is good, Connor? He says hello to us.
What's going on, my guy?
I hear you. Okay, Six said, let me play devil's advocate. What if The Rock gets the title at WrestleMania, wins the title by turning heel and becoming the newest member and one's of the head of the table, joining Roman at the head of the table? I've heard people say it, like have Rock give a belt shot to Cody and then Roman wins again.
My whole argument is predicated on the fact that Rock's going to come and leave, right? So if we thought that Rock was coming back for a year, this whole argument that I have right now would be moot. But we all know that not to be true. There's no way the Rock's coming back and he's going to stay. At the most, we're going to get the Monday before and the Monday after, or the Friday before and the Friday after. And that's at the most. That's at the most.
Let me see here. Maybe Jay falls from the... Oh, sorry. Let me put that up for you guys. Maybe Jay falls from the Bloodline. Rock comes in to show who's the true head of the table. It's a non-title match. You could do that, like you guys said. You have the option of the 2 nights now. That's one of the benefits. In his defense, Black Adam did well for a Rock movie. He had about a good month, and Black Panther 2 made that flick look like a distant memory. That's true. You can't mess with the Marvel.
I'm going to something. To prove that I do my homework, Conrad. You know I do my homework. Because I wanted to predicate my opinion upon something that's happened before. I'm sure everybody in the chat remembers, and I know you remember, SummerSlam 2006, I believe. It was Hogan versus Orton.
Mm-hmm.
And Hogan and Orton, Hogan went to whoever, I don't know if it was Vince, Pritchard, whoever it may have been, and wanted to go on last. He wanted that match to be last. The locker room exploded in discontent. Exploded in complete and total, this is bullcrap and we're not going to allow this. And because of that, they changed their mind. And I think that match went on 3rd or 4th or whatever it may have been. So it's the same premise for me. If Rock wants to come back and be the 3rd match on night 1, the 4th match on night 2, I'm cool with that. But we all know The Rock is going to be in night 2 main event, and that's taking away a spot from somebody who's more deserving.
Not
Yeah, I
wrong.
don't know. I'm gonna be quiet now, guys. I'm gonna do my because I can't keep unplugging. I appreciate you guys telling me what's going on though.
No, it's stopped.
Huh?
It stopped. That's the weird thing.
I don't know. It has a mind of its own.
Yeah, now I'm getting feedback though. I can hear myself on your end, but
I don't know.
it's
Sorry.
it's weird.
Yeah.
No,
I've never had this problem before. I guess tonight was my night.
I probably passed it to you.
Yes.
We'll just blame StreamYard, even though they were very kind once we solved all the issues. But,
okay. Well, I got to find out what's going on with my side, but we'll figure it out.
Let me see here. Yeah, someone saying we could get 2 nights of this. Who else should be in the main event this year? No one stepped up except for the Bloodline. The Rock is the attraction. I don't even care for The Rock anymore, but he's a whoa, Craig. Come on now. The Rock is Hollywood, man. That's what it is with him. Let's move this into your other topic here, Sean. I'm gonna let you start that one off. Let's pop off about topic number 2 here with the Bloodline.
Yeah, I kind of took the mic a little further away. Hopefully it's not as bad. You can let me know. But at the end of the day, I think with everything we're talking about regarding The Rock, we have to kind of focus now on the Bloodline and what we see happening with the Bloodline. We all know what took place on our Survivor Series. Make sure you check out episode 13 in the archives where we really break down the results of Survivor Series. So the question now becomes, where do we go from here? Where does the Bloodline go from here? Does Sammy turn on the Bloodline? Do the Bloodline turn on Sammy? What? Because I believe the next move, and Conrad, you could agree to or disagree. The next move that the Bloodline makes as it relates to storylines, it's going to be the most crucial move of the entire storyline. You feel me? Like what they do next will be the most crucial move in the entire storyline. You have to do what you do next right. That's all I'm saying. Because if you don't, it can screw everything up. I personally predict and believe that Jay is not telling the truth about believing Sammy's the real deal. And I believe that it's going to come down to, and I don't think Roman believes either. I think they are sucking him in, and I think that they are showing him that they love him, but they really don't. I don't believe the Bloodline truly accepts Sami Zayn, and I think that's going to play out in the coming weeks.
I think Sammy has always been a pawn for them in the end. Like, I always do the classic, which one of these is not like the other? Mm-hmm. Sammy is a goofball. Look at the rest of these guys in this picture. Don't take all the other stuff out of it that people are going to say that he has the red hair. That's part of it too. But
and we're not even going to entertain the notion about skin color either. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't have time for that right now. But I'm talking about, look at how happy he is, and the rest of them look like, I'm trying to put this in ways like soldiers. That you were born
for war.
Yeah, you were born to do this, and these guys are just sitting out here, and he's the happiest person in the room. Heyman looks like he's the guy who's doing the taxes. He's keeping it all together. And look at behind him. Just look behind him. What do you think when you see that picture? What do you think when you see that face? Look at this man's happiness. And then look at their faces on the left side here. These guys look miserable, or they're ready to wreck somebody. Roman cracks a smile, but he has a reason to. He runs the place.
That's true, and I think at the end of the day, I think there's an X factor involved here that none of us have thought of, including myself, until this very moment. Who's the only member of the Bloodline lately that you've noticed that hasn't really had a lot to say?
Solo.
Maybe Solo's not as cool with Sammy as we think he is.
Yeah.
Solo doesn't hug. Solo doesn't do the handshake. Solo doesn't high five. Solo doesn't put up the one anymore. Solo looks very discontented to me.
Yeah. And Solo's got a lot to offer within the Bloodline storyline. I think the main thing, another thing to watch too when you watch these segments, and it was the one we had brought up on episode 13 in the archives, On the front thumbnail for it, look at how Roman Reigns and Jey Uso look at each other. I feel like Jey is really his capo because he was the one who stood up to him. Jimmy just fell right in line. Jey knows already, I think, the plans. He's just waiting for Roman to execute. I think he's jump happy. He wants to execute the plan now. He wants to execute the plan right away. And Roman's like, no, when the time is right.
I mean, I like it. See, to me, you have to break up in order for it to pay off. I mean, nobody in their right mind thinks Sami Zayn is going to be a long time. First of all, him being a long time member of the Bloodline, that ship is sailed. Nobody thought he'd be a member of the Bloodline for longer than a month, 2 weeks anyway. It's been a couple of months now. So he's already overstayed his welcome. Not in my opinion. I think Sami in the Bloodline works. But I also know professional wrestling, and I know there has to be a payoff. And the payoff has to be a breakup of some sort. It's just, how are they going to do it? That's the thing. How are they going to do it?
I think you have plenty of time. When is the Rumble? At the end of January?
Yeah, always. Last Saturday of the month.
They have plenty of time. You can I think you go the route of something bad's gonna happen at the Rumble. You tease it. You don't do it there. The best night for the turn to finally happen is in Montreal. I don't know how you get there. You could have it where Sami wins a battle royal. He's going to finally face Roman. And, you bring back that NXT Sami Zayn. I'm doing a little dance with the feet and all that, kicking it up, where he goes into full high gear Sami Zayn mode. He's jumping through the rope, DDTing him. He might actually beat Roman. And then they break his heart afterwards. He's like, it was a good match, man. Thank you so much. He was like, it was a good match for who? Low blow. They take him down in front of his people in Canada. Bro, the people will go crazy for this.
They would.
And then you could even have Rikishi out there. And he was like, why are you guys doing this? He was like, we do this for our family. Why did you do this? Why did you get in the ring, Pops? And he's just going to look at him and say, I did it for the if you smell. And The Rock comes down to the ring to make the save. Let me stop. Someone would beat me down if that actually happened, where Rikishi comes out there. I did it for The Rock.
That wasn't that bad, though. I enjoyed that.
Oh, no. I got to give credit to Phil from Grapsity because he definitely said that first, and I was in tears, man. Shout out to those guys. But you could do something like that. There's plenty of possibilities on how to break this up, but I do think a breakup is happening within the next 2 to 3 months.
Well, yeah, I think within the next 30 days. You're thinking, I mean, if we go according to your logic, it'll be a couple months.
Listen, I'm even crazy enough to say I think you could wait until after the Chamber to do it still.
Okay.
Because you don't want to have too much time in Mania like with KO and Sami, and they haven't been teaming. How are they going to do this, Yeah. Depends on how much you want them to be seen.
No, I feel you. That was entertaining what you put together right there.
Right. Six says Solo's been dropping eggs about not wanting to be in the Bloodline. I've heard a crazy theory of Solo working for The Rock, technically. And that's why he's been standoffish. I'm just saying, you got different things you can mess around with within all of this. The little nuances add to it. Let's see. Solo said even before that he hadn't seen Roman in 20 years. That might be getting added to the storyline. Okay. I think the Bloodline wrecked Sami in Montreal. I bet they will riot. I did it for The Rock. I had to hit everybody with that. But plenty of ways for this to go, man. The Usos, yeah. I don't know. What do you see for them after this too? Like, you get your big match. Roman finally loses the belts, and the Usos lose their belts. What's next then for the Bloodline? They've done it all. They've beaten everybody in these last few years.
They have. I just think the rough part is the idea that what happens to Sami after this. That's the key for me. Roman's going to be all right. My issue is what happens to Sami. Sami has had a career resurgence, my brother.
Okay. Hold on. We're merging the original first topic in this one. I got a question for you. We all talked about how Cody has a right to possibly be the one to dethrone Roman. Does Sammy have a right?
I don't know if he has a right. I think. I mean,
well, I've seen some people put their stake in it's Cody. Cody's the only one who I'll believe at this point.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But could Sammy be, though? I've heard other people now. I'm starting to see more fans say, no, I think Sammy might be the guy. He's the one getting Sammy's the reason why this is working. Roman picked him.
Here's the problem. You can't have the Texas Tornado beat Hulk Hogan in his prime, right? No, I'm not being funny. I'm being serious. Like the Texas Tornado, you can't have Ravishing Rick Rude beat Hogan in his prime, even though I thought that would have been a good match. You can't have. I'm talking about somebody that's on top of their game, but not quite there as it relates to being able to take down the man. I don't care what Sammy does, bro. Sammy's never going to be on the level where I think he should be able to beat Roman in a one-on-one match. Let's not go too far. You know what I'm trying to say? I think the farthest you go is have Roman face Sammy night 1 and then lose to Cody night 2. That's my dream scenario. And you can have Sammy cost Roman the title in the second night if you want. But what I'm trying to say, but Sammy, I mean, like I said, Texas Tornado, Dino Bravo, like you're never gonna have that's kind of
come on now. You gotta pick a better name than that. That was disrespectful.
That was too far. The Mighty Hercules in his prime, or somebody like that. They're not going to beat Hogan or Savage in their prime. They're not going to beat Andre the Giant. Right now, Roman Reigns is Andre the Giant. Right now, Roman Reigns is Hulk Hogan. Right now, Roman Reigns is 1988 Macho Man Randy Savage. You got to have somebody believable beat him, and Sami Zayn's not that guy. But Sami Zayn can be a guy that can bring back notoriety to a belt like, I don't know, the Intercontinental title or the United States title, or have an amazing tag team reign maybe with Kevin Owens. That's where we're at with it. We need to put Sami in a position where Sami doesn't fall right back into obscurity where he was before he joined the Blood. The Bloodline situation saved his career, Conrad, right? Let's call it what it was.
Wait, whose career?
Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn was swimming in mediocrity.
So this is where me and you disagree on this. I think Sami Zayn's been one of the more entertaining pieces of television.
Since he joined the Bloodline.
No, I think even before then he was. Even with him as Nakamura's manager, I thought it was a mistake to not have him wrestle. Listen, the things that I was worried about, Sami Zayn has hit out of the park every time they've given him a task. Mm-hmm. So at first, put him on the main roster. Let's see if he can hang. He went in there with John Cena. He put on a heck of a match. Got hurt. Maybe he won't be able to come back from this. He goes back to NXT, rises up. He does it again. Boom, he's there. He has great matches with Kevin Owens. Then he goes to SmackDown, and Vince McMahon says, why don't you go heel? And sure, I'll go heel. He follows Vince's guidelines, bro, and it works.
Wow.
It worked. It worked like a charm. He was really good. He was like, I just had to put myself fully into this. And he said he didn't know if it was going to work either. The dude is really good. He doesn't have that many misses. Then they were like, you know what? You're going to manage Nakamura. He helped Nakamura in the mid-card, fine, and he helped him become an Intercontinental champ. Then Sammy used himself to get in, then he became the champ. Mm-hmm. He came up with creative finishes in the ladder match. Who would have ever thought to handcuff a ladder to Jeff Hardy's earlobe? Like, he's been entertaining me throughout all of this. He's had some of the best matches. Well, I think Sammy's been good. Now, this right here is the best thing he's done out of all of the things I've mentioned, though. So that's where I do agree with you on it.
Well, and we can agree to disagree. I did not find that particular. I did not find that particular moment in Sami Zayn's career to be very entertaining. I thought it was corny. I thought the best part of Nakamura was was the announced team, honestly. But at the end of the day, all due respect to Sami Zayn, I don't care. No matter what we agree or disagree about before Sami Zayn became a Bloodline member, Sami Zayn has made this Bloodline thing work. And if it wasn't for Sami Zayn's talents and Sami Zayn's ability to be funny and entertaining, this would have not worked. So the bottom line is he's over. Now, how do we keep him over? Because eventually the Bloodline's going to have to break up from Sami Zayn. And Sami Zayn's going to have to do something to keep this momentum going. You don't want to be Farouk.
What are you talking about? Getting a picture from The Rock?
You don't want to be Farouk, right? Farouk got eliminated from the Nation of Domination, and tell me what Farouk did for the next 2 years.
Bro, listen, as a person of color, I am one of the worst people to talk about Farouk with, because I know Farouk lines from promos that nobody should know, and I laugh at some of them because it's some of my favorite stuff. The one Sean's talking about right now is probably my second favorite of all time, where he was like, hey, man, y'all heard what I said. Get The Rock out the Nation. Beat him down. And he was like, joke's on you, Farouk. And they all just beat Farouk down. My all-time favorite, though, King of the Ring. You know the line?
King of the Ring, which year?
What year did he face Undertaker? 97?
What, Rock? Well,
Farouk.
Oh, Farouk 97. No, I don't remember.
Paul Bearer had the blackmail on the Undertaker.
Right.
And this is when Paul Bearer managed him, and he was like, well, you're the champ, so I'm going to be with you.
Okay.
Even though you got the blackmail and nobody knew what it was yet.
I remember that, yeah.
Farouk cuts a promo in the back, and he goes, Undertaker, you better not be worried about Paul Bearer's blackmail. You need to be worried about this blackmail, because I'm coming to take the WWF Championship. It was one of the best promos of all time. I love that promo.
That just because you said that.
Right?
But like for Farouk, the thing is, my point in saying all that is, though, there's people who are Shawn Michaels and there's people who are Marty Jannetty. And Marty Jannetty was great. But there's I love Marty Jannetty. Don't do that. I love
the Rockers. Don't.
I love Marty Jannetty. I thought Marty Jannetty should have had a better run as a singles guy, but I think we all know he had some backstage stuff that messed him up. The bottom line is, though, to stay on course here, when Sammy inevitably, let's call it, like we're agreeing on that, inevitably breaks ties with the Bloodline, or the Bloodline breaks ties with him, the most important day of his career, facts. NXT Sami Zayn was amazing. Let's call a spade a spade. U.S. Championship Open Sami Zayn was amazing. I wasn't a big fan of Nakamura Sami Zayn. I'm a huge fan of Bloodline Sami Zayn. But post-Bloodline Sami Zayn, it's the most important run. It's going to be the most important run of his career, Conrad, because after the Bloodline situation is over, there's no more feeling oozy. There's no more secret handshakes. It's going to be Sami Zayn. What's he going to do?
It's the problem of any pro wrestler. What's next now? What are you going to do next? But I think him and Kevin are going to be part of rebuilding that tag division. Mm-hmm. Now, this is when I keep telling people this, bro. Triple H after Mania, this is when now I'm really watching you, bro. Yeah. That's when you really get to go to work. And what up, Narcolepsy Boy? I see you in the chat, brother. I appreciate you joining us.
What up, man?
Cray saying that's one of his favorite matches, the Sami Nakamura match from NXT TakeOver Dallas. Jannetty looks like Christian. That's why Vincent had put him over. Come on now. Christian's great, too. I like Christian a lot. I think Christian doesn't get enough credit for how good he was in comparison to Edge.
Here's another one. Sammy, you don't want to be gangrene.
Well, that one I ain't gonna that one I ain't gonna argue with you on. That's a tough sell for anybody. I do want to mention this before we get to our last topic of the night. If you guys haven't had the opportunity to today, I retweeted it on Twitter. I believe I put it on the official Everything Pro Wrestling page. But there is a link for Barry Windham. He got taken to the ICU after having some heart troubles. They're asking for some money for it. He doesn't have any insurance, so please make sure you show him some love. And I don't know if he doesn't have any insurance or they won't cover some of the issues for it, but Barry Windham's a legend.
Some of it wasn't able to be covered, but right.
Yeah, Barry Windham's a legend. I just wanted to show him some love on here because he's one of my favorites. I don't get to mention him enough. Early 90s growing up, I loved him in like Dustin as a tag team, him and the Horsemen, even the Widowmaker, Barry Windham. I thought that was a dope name. I thought it could have went way better than it did as a kid, but I digress.
I like that.
Prayers up for Barry Windham.
First ever tag champion at WrestleMania, by the way.
And Hulk Hogan's theme was their theme first.
Yep.
The lead at player.
Anybody who watches old school WWE Network from WrestleMania 1, around WrestleMania 1-ish, when you hear Hogan coming out to Real American, that is a playover. Hogan's theme was the Rocky theme, and Barry Windham and IRS, their theme was Real American.
Yeah. Really good stuff, man. I've really been watching a lot of old school 80s wrestling, like even before I was born. I don't know why, but I've just been on a kick lately of just trying to like.
I know why, because you like real wrestling and you like when wrestling was good in WWE. That's why.
No, I've been watching even older, bro. Like I've been going back to other companies. I've just been on the 80s kick lately. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the season.
No, I think, you know what? I think honestly the 80s is we were only just twinkles in our parents' eyes, but I think the 80s was absolutely awesome. I think 80s wrestling was what wrestling should always be. I mean, Attitude Era was when we were in our teens, our young teens, like elementary and junior high. Obviously, that was a tremendous era, but the Federation era was unbelievable.
Yeah, dude. I always tell people wrestling grew up with us. Like, if you're in my age range, I always tell people, like, we were a kid, Vince wanted our dollar. And then when we grew up, Vince still wanted our dollar. So he was like, yeah, it's time. It's time, guys.
That's right.
And he started doing all that foolishness to get us at whatever level we were. And then I think once I got into college, I felt like, oh, he forgot about me, you know? And now we're at this stage of the game where they're trying to figure out how to redo it and rebuild back up into it.
Yo, McKinney is wild, yo.
Hold on here. With the emotion put in that promo where he was almost in tears talking to KO, it's going to be a roller coaster.
I'm not talking about that.
But Bray made over $3 million in his fee.
Yo! You are a savage for that, McKinney.
Well, yeah, Bray's...
Yeah, bro, I'm not laughing at Barry Windham's situation. I've already donated to him. I want him to get better. But McKinney's comment, yo, that is hilarious.
Well, Bray is named after him. I believe that's his uncle, right? Or he calls him his uncle.
Godfather, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how close they are. Maybe that ain't my business.
No, the reason why I'm laughing straight up is because he makes a really good. That's a funny point, but it's a good point. Like. Bray Wyatt, like, what's up, man? If that's your Godfather, like, what's up?
And maybe he will. I don't know. I haven't looked at. I don't look at who donates because I think that's rude too sometimes, just to see like, well, who didn't, and let's call them out on Twitter and all that stuff. But it's a valid point, man. We'll see what happens with it. I just want Barry Windham to get the help he needs at the end of the day. That's the real.
I have donated, by the way. I'm a big fan, and I believe that, you got to walk it like you talk it.
Facts. Let's get into the last topic.
Oh boy.
Great layout, by the way, for William Regal. If only one thing I would complain about with this was I wish the doctor would have gotten into the ring and slid over to his left shoulder and tried to help him while MJF cut the promo instead of waiting until MJF left. Like, you done? All right, let's get in there, guys. Like, I don't know. I'm a big fan if you're going to keep people away, like hold them off versus how they did that there. But Regal gets laid out. He is taken out. Sean, the rumors are Mr. Regal's going back. He's going back to his home away from home, as you see on the microphone right there.
War Games.
What do you guys think? Let me know, Sean. I'm coming to you first, man. What do you think of Mr. Regal possibly bouncing out of AEW?
There's a lot of things I care about, Conrad, in the world of professional wrestling, and I'm gonna keep it specific to William Regal. I care about his health. I care about his well-being. I want him and his family to be happy. I don't give a rat's behind about him going back to WWE. This flip-floppy stuff makes me sick. Why would he go? Did he realize the grass wasn't greener? Did he realize that he wanted to go back? Did he realize that he had a... First of all, you got fired, okay? He didn't leave on his own recognizance. He got fired. And then and I guess you get a phone call, and now they're gonna bring him back. It reminds me, I'm an old school guy. If you get a chance, watch Dark Side of the Ring. This particular episode is pretty cool. The whole series was pretty cool. PWF, I believe.
PWF. I'm trying to think of which one that was. I think Sean might be catching up, or he fell behind a little bit. We'll have to see what happens with him, but the Regal thing is very interesting for what they have going on. William Regal was in AEW helping to run things alongside everyone in the BCC. He got Moxley and Danielson united. This all happened last year around March. It hasn't even been a year, and William Regal's out. And I don't know what they're gonna end up doing or what, but I just feel so bad for everybody involved. Chat, tell me how does this make AEW look to you? Like, that's the real concerning thing. Is AEW coming off looking really bad here? Like, do they look like they have no clue what they're doing? You tell me. You tell me, because right now, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm feeling pretty sour about the whole AEW's great, blah, blah, blah. They're doing what's best for business. That's what I'm saying. Let's see here. Damon says the word on the street was that he regrets going to AEW day one because he saw the immaturity in the front office. Yes. That was said by EC3 on a Sportskeeda show. I believe that was with Vince Russo and his partner. They did mention something about they had heard it was about immaturity. I'll let Sean make his point, and then we'll go through the comments. But please, let me know, guys. Let me know.
This is the worst audio situation. I've never gone through such headaches with my audio ever in my entire life. It's
live. When you listen to the audio version, and when we just poured it over, it's live. Stuff happens. Crackly mics. StreamYard not working. This is the best part, though. We just roll with the punches. You're here for the conversation, I hope.
There was an organization that was on the rise in the late 80s, early 90s. And basically, it was an alternate organization. PWF, I think it's called. Don't quote me on that. Long story short, the biggest signing in that short time that they were in business was Andre the Giant. They brought Andre the Giant over. He worked one episode of their television. Then Vince called him, brought him back. My point in saying that is, when you get fired, or let go, or they decide to not renew your contract, and you go somewhere else, and then when they see you getting hot, they want to bring you back. To me, you look like a sucker for doing that. Like Cody Rhodes, to me, is a sucker. Plain and simple. I don't respect Cody Rhodes' decision to go to WWE. Just like I would not respect William Regal for going back to WWE. I respect William Regal. He's a legend. How can I not respect him? But they, at one point in your career, not recently, a year ago, they said, hey, man, we don't want you anymore. Now you're over again. Now we'll bring you back. And let's call a spade a spade. 9 times out of 10, not bringing you back because they really want you, just bringing you back so you won't be with the other team. That's my perspective.
Right. Shout out to Mounties Corner. I saw you on TikTok today looking swole, brother. So I gotta give you your credit, man. Need to get me there, man. I need your workout routines or something, bro.
I'm witness. He is really good. I've dropped a few because of him. I got to keep going, though.
It depends on what they're going to do here. I see people bring it. Did you see the EC3 comment?
I'm looking at it now. Articles about EC3 saying that I don't frustrate. No, what's the backstory on that?
So I'm going to go back to Damon's comment because he basically had it right. He said the word on the street is he regrets going to AEW day one because he saw how the immaturity in the front office was. Here's what I'm going to say about this, partially. I'm going to flip this to the WWE side of things real quick. If William Regal had a clause in his contract, I don't know how true this is, but Alvarez or someone had mentioned this, I think. If he had a stipulation in his contract that said if Triple H gets back in power, that I can go. How did he know that back in March? And I know they knew around WrestleMania that the Vince stuff was coming. Vince knew, like, this was his last hurrah. Maybe that's why he wanted the match at Mania with Pat McAfee. He was like, this is my last match. I'm never going to get to do any of this again. They're going to probably try to boot me out. But Vince wasn't acting like that. So who knows how they were going to take it. But how would you just happen to know Triple H was going to get back into power? They did everything to remove Triple H's power structure from under him. Why were they doing that? Something's going on. There's a backstory to this that I really hope we find out in that Vice doc. I think it comes out in a week or two.
What Vice?
It's called Vince McMahon 9 Lives, I believe it is, or something like that. And they're gonna go through like his kind of like everything that happened with all of this. So
that sounds amazing.
Yeah, so if you got Vice, I would recommend checking it out in like a week or two. It should be. They delayed it because it was supposed to come out already, but I think the Rock's people called up and said, "Hey, you're gonna have to hold off on that until our series is done."
Right.
Let me see here. Let's go into the chat. They've probably got some interesting thoughts on this. I'm wondering what that contract was looking like for him just to leave. Was there a contest at all? If not, those are decisions that cause people to call Tony Khan a mark. I mean, he is a manager too. I maybe Tony didn't trust him all the way. I would hope.
That's what I think.
Let me ask you this, Sean. You're Eric Bischoff, 1997, and Pat Patterson happens to want to come over. Would you take him?
No.
Or would you say no because you don't trust him?
I would never be able to trust Pat Patterson with the relationship he had with Vince McMahon. Because the first thing I would assume with Pat Patterson coming over to my company in 1997, 654, is that they had an argument. Him and Vince had a falling out. And as soon as Vince calls back to apologize, Patterson will be right back with him.
And I mean, we talked about other names. That's probably why they didn't hire.
Yeah.
That's probably why they didn't hire him.
Right.
Because you don't want someone like that in your company. He's poison. In the moment Triple H called back, he was like, the last day my severance pay ran out. Thanks, Hunter. And he went right back over there. Like he started getting worried about that money running out. And then he went on a campaign trail to get hired at AEW. And then, nope, he went right back to Triple H. So good move that you didn't hire him, Tony. Rob says there's no accountability there. And I think it's actually hilarious. Regal basically said, F them kids. That sports media.
At the same time, it doesn't eliminate the fact that
go get into it, bro. Speak your truth.
They fired him. I mean, like Ruby Soho and whoever else you want to talk about. They let these people go. They looked them in the eyes, and they said, "We don't want you anymore." Right? And now I want you back? No. Wait a minute. I'm the same guy that you didn't give a crap about me being able to feed my kids 6 months ago. I'm not the same guy. I'm the guy that has busted my tail for you for 20 years, mid-card, never been a world champion. And then you put me in this role as NXT GM. I make it work. War Games, I make it work. I help develop your talent. You look me in my eye and say, we don't want you anymore. I go to your competition. I remake a name for myself. And now you want me back? And again, probably not because you all of a sudden think I'm so great again, but because you see that I'm playing for the other team. Like, look at yourself in the mirror. Are you a man? And I say that with all due respect to William Regal. I think William Regal is a man, and we all have bills to pay. But you're not going to just kick my ass out the door and then...
Sean, I was going to say, do you see it as... I think there was a civil war going on, and I think we've had this conversation on different podcasts. Maybe it was on yours that we had this.
Yes.
I think there was a civil war going on inside of WWE. You were either Team Vince or Team Triple H.
Uh-huh.
And I think there were some people Stephanie and Nick Khan, playing both sides, learning how both sides were going to operate and what the future was moving forward.
Right.
I mean, can you blame some of those guys? So I think Regal was fired because you're a Triple H guy. Shawn only got to stay because Shawn knows something. Shawn knows where some bodies are buried in that company. He's been around since the 80s. Yes. He sees everything. So Shawn knows what's going on within that company. And BJ, I want your thoughts on why you don't trust what EC3 says. Because to me, EC3 has nothing to gain at this point. WWE probably don't want you. They would have called you already if they did.
Absolutely.
The fans are upset with you because you did the control your narrative stuff for the most part, at least wrestling Twitter and all that. They're not happy with EC3. Could he go to TNA, NWA? Sure, you could wrestle there if you wanted to, but none of the major places want him. So why would he say something like that if it wasn't true?
Right.
I don't know. I'm not saying that you're wrong either. I'm just saying there's got to be a bunch of things here. Cray said TK was right to let Regal go. Regal has always wanted to be with WWE, especially with Triple H. He did say that on his podcast too, that he wouldn't talk negatively about WWE. He only came to AEW because of Mox and Danielson. He was thinking about retirement before then. Yeah, he's going to go back to a good position with Triple H. Triple H is going to hook him up. It doesn't even have to be about the Ducks. It's a bunch of people ruining the show that shouldn't be on TV. This is my other point, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
Is CM Punk as crazy as some people thought he was now?
CM Punk is not as crazy as we thought he was. Like I said, I'm gonna touch on something for 2 seconds, literally. That's gonna piss people off, just to make people know that I'm not fake and fugazi and speak out of both sides of my mouth. I still say CM Punk was very unprofessional the way he conducted himself in AEW. Okay, I'm not saying it was all his fault. I never said it was all his fault, but for his part, he was very unprofessional. Okay, put that to the side. CM Punk was 100% right about WWE. Period. CM Punk hit the nail right on the head. The problem with CM Punk is that CM Punk, in my opinion, this is the psychiatrist in me now. CM Punk, I think, took all that angst and all that being done dirty with him when he went to AEW. So the first sign of something not being right, he exploded. And you have to be smarter than that, more professional than that. But
well,
yeah,
Conan and them. I hear what you're saying. Conan and them brought up what happened, and to me, it sounds like there was a misunderstanding on both sides a little bit, and it got out of control because Tony didn't know how to squash a beef. When they were all in a room to try to squash it beforehand, and it never did. You didn't do anything to Hangman Page, so then Punk said, "Oh, you're not going to do anything to him? What do most people do in the workplace, Sean? Oh, you stole 15 minutes of time? Well, I'm going to do the same thing then."
Exactly.
And it becomes a culture-wide problem amongst the company.
Right, until somebody...
we're shooting now. He was like, we're shooting. Because he was like, I can make people look really bad on the mic too if we want to do that. Okay, game on. He did it, and then it was a problem with the management. He was like, it wasn't a problem before when it was your boy, though, right?
There you go.
And this is where the childish behavior comes up, and it got played into. And eventually... what I was told was the Young Bucks and all them went to get security or head of legal, and they went right into the room. So they basically charged in. It wasn't like they broke down the door, but opened the door and they all walked in. And right. CM Punk just said, if you have problems with me, come see me. Well, when you see a group of people coming at you, what do you think that means, Sean? You must want these problems that I was talking about. And he punched Matt Jackson in the face, and then it blew out of proportion for this whole thing. But one of Punk's issues was the younger guys not taking advice. And Pillman Jr. commented on that article in the thread on Justin LaBar, I believe. He said that, no, there were people who went to go and do sessions with Regal. I'm one of them. The problem was it wasn't everyone. I'm not saying that there were 40 guys out there, but there were like 10 of us who would go in the ring and listen to Regal. And he would tell us, hey, you should be doing this, this, and this.
Right.
And I was just like, there should be more people out there. And it's like, who are the people who are that arrogant that don't think they could listen to William Regal?
Right.
I just find it very odd.
Who do you think you are to ignore 40 years of masterpiece in the ring?
Right. Good comments from the chat right now. Mountie, he's a man. Some of them got fired twice. Yeah, Samoa Joe. You got that right, Sick. He got fired twice.
I'm gonna knock on Samoa Joe's door, figuratively, and say, hey, Joe, I see what you're doing, double champion down there. Listen, whatever, for what it's worth, whatever happened, good point, Sick. I'm kind of piggybacking off it. Yeah, I figured maybe we had got off on the wrong foot. I see you doing your thing down there. You want to come back? No, I don't want to come back. You fired me. You looked me in the eye and said I wasn't good enough. No, I'm not coming back. And maybe I'm on my soapbox. Maybe I'm being unrealistic. I know we all have bills to pay. But in my mind, I don't think William Regal was fired from AEW, was he?
No, it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like his contract ended or he had a clause in it.
Right. So at the end of the day, William Regal made a decision to receive that phone call and say, sure, I'll come back. Like, what? Like, to me, I equate it to real life, man. If my boss fires me, I thank God, I'm knock on wood, I've never been fired before. But you fire me, and then you see I'm doing my thing somewhere else. Now you want to bring me back? Screw you.
Demond saying though he said that was Vince though. He's a Hunter guy, so it's all about who's running the ship, not the ship itself.
I hear you, and maybe he is a Triple H guy, and maybe it was a situation where it was done under Vince's watch. But you know something? At the end of the day, it's still WWE, and I'm not totally convinced that Vince is not involved right now. You can't sit up here and tell me with a straight face and with any kind of a surety that Vince has completely stepped out of the mix. I don't believe that.
Well, he still holds the most stock.
Right.
It's not like he lost his stock.
No, I don't mean it like that. You're 100% right about that. I'm talking about creatively.
Oh, I don't know how.
All it takes is a phone call. He's not living on Mars, okay? He's right there in Greenwich or wherever he's at. All it takes is for him. You don't know what was talked about over Thanksgiving dinner? You don't know what was talked about?
Names will remain nameless, but somebody sent me something today that we said on the episode where we reviewed and gave grades to all of Triple H's returns. Mm-hmm. It was the exact same thing, bro. They said, the only one that's been pretty good has been Bray Wyatt. I don't know why everybody's geeking out over, and I'm like, the Tegan Knox happened in Buffalo, and I was like,
everything Triple H has done, with the exception of Bray Wyatt, has been, it's better than it's better than sucks, so I guess it's better.
Yeah. Right, and Sick brings up another good point. Takes me back to Zelina Vega. She got fired for standing up for what she believed in, had the whole world's respect. Soon as she got that phone call from WWE, she went back, hat in hand, and then...
Sick. I got to salute you for this, Sick.
Oh, wait, let me just add one last part to it. And then they got rid of her husband after. And now he's in AEW.
There you go. Sick, I got to salute you for that comment, man. I feel like I'm being repetitive, Conrad, but I feel like it's worth repeating. I work for EPW, right? Let's pretend Hubbard Wrestling Weekly never existed. I work for EPW. This is not a joint collaboration between Hubbard Wrestling Weekly and EPW. This is 100% EPW, and I work for you. And you know what? You fire me. And then I go and create Hubbard Wrestling Weekly, and I become popping, and then you say, hey, Sean, do you want to come back? Well, no, I don't want to come back. You fired me. You looked me in my eyes and you said, Sean, you're not good enough. I don't want you. Am I the only one that, chat, help me out. Am I the only one that doesn't understand why somebody would do that?
Right. Listen, it is still the same company. All it takes is Nick Khan to come back. How did all those cuts happen? And now all of a sudden you didn't need those cuts.
Come on. Come on.
It doesn't make sense.
Let's be logical about this.
Hold on, let me get to some of these comments here. BJ said EC3 is just talking to talk to make any headline possible at this point. I feel like he let too much stuff go to his head after the release. And by that's not his fault, though. I'm going to stick up for EC3 a little bit here. What opportunity or chance did he have to succeed in that position? You didn't let him do anything.
Not at all. I agree.
Not a thing. They let him beat Dean Ambrose once, I think.
They muzzled him and they gave him tremendous limitations on the microphone.
He spent more time backstage drinking one of these. That was the last thing I remember them letting him do anything with that company. Come on, I feel bad for the dude, but I just don't see his reason to lie. He's not getting a job anywhere else. He would have been offered a job already by either company.
I want you to go continue at your own pace going down the comments, but I am chomping at the bit to get at McKinney's comment on the bottom.
Hold on, I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Six said Punk is crazy and egotistical as hell, but just because he's those things doesn't necessarily mean he was wrong about everything.
And Conrad,
that's my point.
Have I ever said CM Punk was at fault for the whole thing?
No. I've been, and listen, y'all know I'm a CM Punk fan. I'll be the first one to tell you. Is CM Punk egotistical? Yes. You probably have to be in this business. Is CM Punk crazy? Yes. Who would have said that in front of their boss? What I like about Punk is, though, he had the balls to do it with his boss next to him. Who else would have did that? A lot of guys can't do that, and he's got the power, and he's like, I'll say whatever I want. So I've always respected that. So he always stayed the same. So respect to him for that. And if this is going to become a problem, this goes back to if the EVPs and all them are encouraging this stuff, and you're never going to be able to get ahead, they're ruining AEW. And Tony Khan needs to get the poison out the well before his money's all invested in, and it's too late. He started being very Carney-like, also started showing issues. I got a friend who worked as a CYN staffer, then his stuff flopped hard, and he's in NWA trying to stay relevant. No one really. Got you. Cray said he didn't trust EC3 either. He doesn't tell the whole truth. Ask Velveteen. Cares more about his narrative, so is he spinning others to get people to pay attention to him? But who's paying attention to NWA? You know what I mean? To me, that's a dead end cause. Booker T thinks AEW management is going to cause the company to fold with their immaturity and not taking it serious. What up, D? I see you in here, bro. Let's see here. Demond says, so if you get fired today and then your boss that did it gets fired in 2 weeks later, the new boss calls you, asks if you like your job back, you're not going? This was your comment?
You know, McKinney, we've interacted on this show many times. The show Nate Conrad and I do together. I love your energy. I respect your opinion. But that one comment right there has to be the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, respectfully, because I just prefaced it with the fact that you say a lot of smart things. This one is not. Vince McMahon is Triple H's father-in-law. Let's not be that naive to think that Vince McMahon does not have the opportunity to influence WWE television or WWE business situations. Please, and to whoever feels that way as well, feel free to comment here on my Twitter, Instagram, whatever. BJM, I think BJM agrees with me, but that's cool. We can agree, disagree. But McKinney, how can we sit up here, and to anybody who feels the same way that this gentleman does with this particular comment, are we really going to be naive enough to believe that Vince McMahon is not involved in WWE in any way, shape, or form? Are you kidding me? Did Triple H divorce Stephanie and I not know about it? Let's be realistic, man. Vince is still involved. Don't you think for 1 second that he's not? He's still involved. Conrad, any thoughts on this?
I think that I hear Demond's point, though, because like I said, I personally believe that there was civil war within the company. I think that there were things happening on both sides.
I respect.
But what I'm saying is that doesn't mean that there's a change, because I hear what you're saying. If someone fired me, bro, I'm not coming back. That's just me. Like, if I was Samoa Joe, you had your chance. I wouldn't go back because of it. I think BJ brings it up here kind of. However, because I left each time and I felt the reason was valid, and we all know budget cuts, wasn't it? I'd be done with that employer. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to keep going back to get played, like, each time. Like, you start to look foolish, and that's your livelihood that you're playing with. Because then eventually when you go to try to get a job, they're going to say, why were you fired from the same place like 2 or 3 times?
I just have so much passion in my heart, and you know how I get when things like this. And again, shout out to McKinney and everybody else, BJM and everybody, ML. I appreciate all opinions, whether you agree with me or not. But McKinney, you're a smart guy. Let's not be naive here. This is Vince McMahon's family. Vince is not off the face of the earth. Vince, respectfully, mean it in the most respectful way, Vince didn't pass away. He's sitting at the dinner table right now. Hello? Am I the only one who doesn't understand this? They just had Thanksgiving dinner together.
He's still got to be around in some way, shape, or form. He's still got to be. He's got to be.
Vince is right here.
And going back to what we said, has Raw and SmackDown, and I know some of y'all may get mad at me for saying this, has it really been that much better?
No.
Me and Sean have been watching Raw probably since episode 1, bro. The show was on an upswing. The show has not gotten that much better since Triple H took over. It's more palatable, I'll say. It's better to watch the entire thing. It's like, oh, at least it's not a rematch fest, but it's still okay. We don't care about any of the characters, and maybe that's because of what Vince did, but it's still not that good. It went from a show that it's like if your kid got a C and then he brings home a C+. That's how it feels. Like, okay, all right, it's the same thing, more of the same. You know what I mean? It just depends, man. But I guess for some of the wrestlers, having the world's respect, don't pay the bills and earn the type of ability to pay contractors to build up your house from the ground up. Yeah, especially if you're loving your job. Okay, Demond said if you loved your job, I could see them going back. I mean, that makes sense too.
Oh, sweet Jesus. No, man, no. Again, respectfully, this is not a normal situation, bro. Like, Conrad, this is not a normal situation. Like, bro, we're talking about this. This is Vince McMahon. This has been his company for 150 years. I'm being facetious, right? And
that's 82.
Right? And his son-in-law and daughter are in charge. Am I wrong about that?
No, you're still on point.
Okay, thank you. So your daughter and your son-in-law are in charge of the company you just stepped down from. And you are going to look at me with a straight face, McKinney or anybody else, and say, Vince has no... I see the comment below it. Let's see here. He can be involved in other things, but creative isn't one of them. But his boy is running the show. Now look at who Who cares? Who cares about the employee list? Let's not be naive. Vince McMahon is sitting at the dinner table. And I mean, help me understand.
I will go back to what you said. You know who? So people say Cody looks like a clown, but you know who looks like the real clowns to me? The Good Brothers. The Good Brothers went back again, bro. So here's my thing. There comes a certain point in time to where if you go back to them, and I hear you complain on Twitter about your booking or you don't like something, I don't want to hear it. And that's where they are with me now. I don't want to hear it. You know, it was another one, Dolph Ziggler. I don't want to hear another word about how Dolph Ziggler is treated badly or anything like. Dolph Ziggler must like where he works because obviously he keeps going back there over and over. He could have went to New Japan and made probably good money, but instead he decided, you know what? Nah. You know what Cody did? Cody left because he knew, if I get big outside, they'll want me back. That was probably always his real plan eventually until he got hot with the Elite and all them. Right. It just depends. Personally, I'm with Sean on this, though. I wouldn't go back, but that's just out of pride because I'm a jerk like that. I wouldn't go back. And that's the dog in my heart, though. That's just who I am. I wouldn't do it. And I'm just that kind of person. Cray agrees with you. He said, I understand exactly how Sean feels. I'll only go back if I didn't have a job already because of my family. But if I had a job, I'm not going back. If AEW's there as an option, bro, there's no need to go back.
That's a fact.
I would be like, yo, I'm building it up here. I'm gonna make this another spot so that way wrestlers like me and everyone else could get paid from another option. And now you're gonna have to pay more money for me when you want me to come back.
Right.
BJ said this was a clippable moment. I don't know which part, but said, yeah, I'm petty as hell. I get fired. I'm not going back, but that's just me. I'm petty and a hater.
I want to give shout outs to BJ and you, Conrad, because I hear what you're saying about being petty, a jerk, whatever you want to call it. I don't think that's what you guys would be. I think you get pride, I agree with. But at the end of the day, you're not going to tell me I'm not good enough, and then when you need me, say that I'm good enough.
Yeah, that's one of those things that I just can never handle at a job. Or when I'm gone, don't try and tell me how much you miss me and all that stuff now and all that. I've had it happen before. Once I leave, you could come back, and maybe we could. No, No, we're good, bro. You can miss me from afar. Peace. You know, you didn't miss me till I was gone, so you can keep missing me. And I always tried to put myself in a better position to where I don't need you anymore. That's just how I try to do it.
Right.
And sometimes it's not in your control, but I don't know. It's just better that way. Cray said Bloodline Storyline made WWE better. It's not better. Bloodline Storyline makes people think it's better. Triple H didn't do anything yet.
Not much. I agree.
So you're a sports guy. Wouldn't it be just like an NBA player getting waived or traded from a team and then later getting the call to come back?
I don't think so. We're gonna have to just disagree on this one. I don't think so. The Triple H Vince McMahon dynamic is unlike anything in sports right now. The son-in-law, I guess you could say, and daughter have taken over for a father that was embroidered in scandal, who left in shame, but is still sitting at the dinner table. That's the bottom line. I keep using that same analogy. He's still sitting at the dinner table. He's still sitting at the dinner table. But he is. He's still sitting at the dinner table. All it takes is a conversation. I'm not really sure about that Sami Zayn guy. Next week, he'll be back on NXT. That's the way things go. This is family we're talking about. This is not like any other situation.
Dick said, thanks for thinking highly of me, though.
I respect you, man.
Always good, man. Listen, this is a great topic. I had a feeling that this William Regal thing could have spun out of control with it, and that's why I saved that one for last. Sean, you got anything going on this week?
A lot going on. We're going to talk about Bud Crawford making his return to the ring. It's not against, unfortunately, not against Errol Spence Jr. because things have gotten in the way, but the WBO champ is back in the ring. We're going to be covering that on Hubbard Wrestling Weekly, and I want to apologize to everybody for my technical difficulties. This was completely on me, but I think we definitely finished strong today. I'm not going to lie. I think that it came out to be a really good show in the end, and thank you all for sticking with us. I appreciate you guys. HubbardWrestlingWeekly.com, Hub_wrestling right there is my Twitter, and I'm having a lot of fun on TikTok as well at HubWrestling_MVP. Oh my gosh, Clash of the Podcast shorts on the Hubbard Wrestling Weekly YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe so you can get the bits and pieces, just like this clippable moment we were just talking about a few minutes ago.
Cray said, love the pod clash. Keep up the great work, brothers. Hey. Before we get on out of here, though, I do want to give Sean credit. Sean did put together most of this episode due to me being down and out, but that's a little behind the scenes, so you can give him full credit. So that offsets the penalties, I feel like. I hope, but me and Derek are going to try and cover Dynamite this week. Hopefully my voice will stay in it. I don't know how long the episode will be, but I'm hoping that I'll be good by then to where I can handle it. Other than that, we got lots of things coming up. You got 2 big wrestling pay-per-views on Saturday. You've got Ring of Honor at what time? I think 4:00 it starts Eastern time.
Definitely, yeah.
And then we got NXT Deadline. They got some TNA sounded match in there for the men and the women. That's going to be interesting. We'll see how that works.
Sounds real King of the Mountain-ish.
Yeah, it looks real complicated. I can see a bunch of clocks on the screen happening all at once.
Right.
I don't know what they're doing, bro. But I'll give it a shot. I'll watch it. You can't knock it until it happens. But leave us a comment down below if you guys watch this after the fact. Show us some love. Before myself and my tag team partner, Mr. Sean Hubbard, you guys, thank you for checking out Clash of the Podcast.
Peace, y'all. God bless.